So this is the NVR section, starting off with question number 11. We can see here we're sort of adding one here, that goes to the next one, and then one at the top, and then one at the bottom, and then one at the top, and then so the next one has to be one at the bottom. So it's going to look something like this, which means that both sides are not filled up. So we can go ahead, cross out D and E. We're left, and we can also cross out A because that's also not fully filled up on the bottom. That means we're left with B and C. The last thing we have to pay attention to is this triangle in the middle. We have white, grey, white, grey, white. Then we have grey, but notice it flips every time, pointing upwards, downwards, upwards, downwards, upwards, downwards. We have a grey triangle pointing downwards, therefore it has to be B. For 12, we can notice a pattern. It goes grey, grey, white, white. Therefore, it will go grey, grey. So we can cross out A, B, and E. The next thing is that the outside shape goes grey, black, white, grey, and then the outside will be black, white. So the answer would be D. So for 13, we notice that in the middle, it's going in a clockwise rotation of 90 degrees. It's going up. To the right, it has to go down in order to go to the left, and then back up. So if the triangle is pointing down, we cross out A, C, and D. Next thing I'm going to focus on is the star. I also notice that it's moving in a clockwise direction from here to there, and it has to be from here to there in order to end up from that vertex to here. So we know that the star has to be somewhere around here, and the only one that is left is E. So the only one that is odd one out here is that I notice there's a shape on the inside and the outside. What I do notice is that all of these shapes are quadrilaterals. There's a trapezium, a rhombus, a square, and then a rectangle. D is the only one that has a three-sided shape in the middle. We can see that we have quite a lot of shapes here, but if we count how many of each there are, we can see that the number of stars, 1, 4, 1, 2, 2. That's quite variating. There's not really a pattern we can see there. Circles as well, we have that changes between 2, 1, 2, 2, 1. So there's no pattern there, but let's try the squares. We have 3, 2, 3, 3, and 3. We can see that the only one that has 2 squares is B. Therefore, it's the right answer. For 16, we can see pretty much straight away, I can see 4 for a 4-sided shape, 3 for a 3-sided shape, 5 for a 5-sided shape, 5 dots. So the only one that fits that pattern is C, which is 5 dots and 5 sides.
Question 17. So what happens from left to right? Well, this L shape is rotated 90 degrees anti-clockwise. You can see that is this one, this type of shape, okay? So what goes in the empty box? It's going to be this shape, okay? It's not going to be a reflection. If you reflected it horizontally, the L would look something like this, which is wrong. So it's going to be option A.
Horizontal axis, that means we're doing a horizontal axis this way. That means this triangle will flip upside down, so we can cross out A and C. We also know that this shape would stay the same, so we can cross out B. That leaves us with D. For question 19, let's count our positions. We have P to V, we 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have to add 6, and that means we get S, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We get Y, which means we can cross out this one, and this one. And then for the next one, T, L to 7 means we're going backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We need to minus 15. And then T, if we minus 15, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We get YE. We can see that is starting to look like solution D. For 20, this is the verbal reasoning section. I'm starting off with question number 20. And it says, we have to find the longest word that can be made using letters only in bold that have a vertical line of symmetry. So vertical line of symmetry, I can see M, A, H, T, definitely I, but I don't know any words. But the longest word I can make is math. And so that is more than 3, therefore the answer is C. So in the word capture, we can change the letter C to, if we change it to an R, we can make the word rapture. Therefore the answer is A. So in 22, which word is the odd one out? So we can see that all of them have hex. However, in all of these, hex is used as a prefix. It's used to mean 6 or something to do with 6, maybe 16. So hexagonal means like a hexagon, it's got 6 sides. However, hexed means something completely different. It means like a spell. Therefore, A is the only one where hex is not used as a prefix.
So question 23 is updated. There's a hidden 5-letter word in the sentence below. You have to try and find it, and then this is what is true about the hidden 5-letter word. So if you look through the gaps here and try and find a hidden letter, I'm checking. You've got one that says then right here. Now, there's potentially multiple hidden words here, so check if any of these match. So, programming language, is it a musical instrument? No, none of these match. So it's not going to be this hidden letter. It's going to be a different one. Okay. Hen is a oh, sorry, that was a 4-letter word. It has to be a 5-letter word, so that was my mistake. News as well. That's a 4-letter word. There we go. River. That's a hidden 5-letter word, and you can see it's a type of natural landmark. Okay, a river.
Here, because it says without changing the order of the letters in the words. So here I can see we can only make one word, which is going to be carpet. So we can do solution A. Question 25, which is the grammatically odd one out. We have eat, ate, go, went. So I go, I went. We have the past tense over here. I bear, I bore the burden. The only one that's the odd one out is going to be I am and I is, because is not the past tense. This should be I was. So A is the solution. For question 26, which is the odd one out, deafening silence, they all seem to be opposites, an adjective that is opposite to the noun before it. Open secret, bittersweet, or not always noun, but they are always opposites. However, clearly confused, it can sound like an opposite because of something. If you can see clearly, sometimes you're not confused. However, clearly is far too, that's not the exact opposite of confused, just like bitter is, or if something is secret, it's definitely not opened. So clearly, you can say, I'm clearly very angry. It's just a quantifier or how much you can see something, but it's not the exact opposite of confused, so it's the odd one out. For question 27, we simply just have a typo in this question. It's to just say what is the word in capitals rearranged. The climber grabbed onto a something, sort of like a rock, or so you can kind of call this a boulder. So if we write this down, and let me just move this along, we should see that our word starts with a B. The next question here.
So question 28 is a codes question. The codes are not written in the same order, so we have to figure out which one is related to which. So look for numbers. Okay, so you can see 5 and 5. Are there any two words with the same second letter? Well, yes, 2 of them here have I's, so we know they're going to be related. Now, which one is which? Well, if we look at the first letter, A, if this is A, then this one would have to be A. That doesn't work. For the first letter here, the first letter here, if that's diner, 8 will equal D, 5 will equal I, and that seems to work out here because D is 8, 6 is then E, which works, and then R is 3, and we've used that basically to figure out the code, okay? So this one ends in, or second letter is R. We know that it's train, meaning the missing code is for rated, and that's going to be, starting with an R, is going to be 3. A is 9, and T is 7, according to this code right here, and E is 6, and then D is 8. So there you go, option A.
And we can see if there's a gold, bronze and silver, then we're going to have a 3-step order of how they're going to win. And so we can see, let's take this to be true, Germany wins the gold medal. Let's take this to be true, France wins the silver medal. The only statement that can be true is that Italy wins the bronze medal. So which one does that leave us with? It cannot be true that Italy does not win the bronze medal if all of these other statements are true. This is the math section, starting off with question 30. So in a bag of counters, this ratio is blue to red to yellow. Now we need to have 8 more blue counters than yellow counters, so we're focusing here and there. Now with ratio, it's always good to find out the whole number of parts. So the whole number of parts is 9 plus 3, which is 12, plus 5 is 17, which means each ratio represents a part of 17. So if we need to find how many counters there are altogether, we need to find how many multiples of 17 we have to make in order to get the same proportion where there are 8 more blue counters than yellow counters. So imagine it's a pie. We're just trying to make the parts of this pie bigger and bigger so that 17 can fit into it. So 17 is a factor. So let's start by multiplying this by 2, which means our parts would look something like 18, 6, and 10. However, do we have 8 more blue counters than yellow counters? No, we don't. Let's try and multiply 17 by 3. And then we end up having 18. Oh, we add another part, so another 17, which means we have to multiply this by 3. Sorry, actually, we're just going to go ahead and multiply. We're just going to double it again. So double it again. We end up having a double. This becomes 12 to 36 to 20. So after we've doubled it again, because we're trying to find how many multiples of 17 do we need, do we have 20 more? Do we have 8 more blue counters than yellow counters? Yes, 20 minus 12 is 8. So how many do we have altogether? We have to add 20 plus 36 plus 12, which you add up units, that gives you 6 plus 2, 8. You add up tens, 2 plus 3 plus 1 gives you 6. The answer is 68. So for question 31, we need to find the rate of work for one decorator. So it takes one decorator, if it takes 4 to do 3 hours to 2 rooms, over here, and I've just zoomed out a little bit for some space. We have to do 1 decorator. It has to do 3 times 4 because we have less people, which means more time to do the work. 12 hours to do 2 rooms. That means we can also say that to do 1 room, so that means to do 1 room, it's going to take him half the time, so he's going to take 6 hours. But we have to do 3 rooms. So now we have to also manipulate this ratio. We have to get, if we want 3 rooms, that means it should take 1 decorator 18 hours. But we have 5, so we need to do 18 hours divided by 5, which is going to give us 3.6. What that does, we know 3 hours, we can put that straight there. But what is 0.6? What 1/6 of 60? Actually, not 1/6. 1/6 is going to be, so 0.6 is 6/10. We're going to do 6/10 of 60 because there's 60 minutes. Cross that out and we get 6 times 6, which is 36 minutes. So Freddie has some animals in his field. We're going to do 2 to 3 and we always label. This is going to be sheep to cows. If he has 50 sheep, we have to times both sides by 50, which means this is going to end up both sides by 25 to get 50 over here. So 2 times 25 is 50, and then 3 times 25 is going to be 75. So we have 75 sheep for his 75 cows for his farm. So he's actually going to count now that he actually has 50 to 100 cows. How are we going to simplify this? It's going to simply be 1 over 2 because it's double. 100 is double 50. And I'm just going to scroll down so you can see that 1 to 2. So Charlotte has a map. The scale on the map is 1 to 25 meters. So we're going to do 1 centimeter to 25, and that means if we have 7 centimeters, the real distance, we're going to multiply each thing by 7, each number by 7. That's over here. And then let's just do that calculation on the side. 25 multiplied by 7, that becomes 5. Add 3, 7 times 2 is 14, add 3 is 175. That's going to be our answer. 175, always put units, it's going to be meters. Next question. The key word here is half a kilometer from the church, and how much is half a kilometer? Half a kilometer is going to be 500 meters. So if we know 1 to 25 and we need 500, we're going to multiply each number by 20, multiplied by 20, and that becomes 20 centimeters on the map. Next up, we have to write our ratio down for mixing colors. We have 1 to 1, blue and yellow. So if that is our thickness, that means we are making purple. We need to get 3 parts to 7 parts blue. So we need to make 20 liters of purple paint. So for purple, we need to have 3 to 7 red and blue. And so that means how much do you need for 20 liters in total? So in total, that means this will make 10 parts. We need to make 20 liters of this. So simply we just have to multiply each side by 2 until we get 6 liters of red paint over here, and then 17 times 2 is 14 liters of blue paint. Question 37, we need 13 to 7 parts red to make orange. That means in total we have 20 parts. To make 10, we're going to have to divide each side by 2. Divide each side by 2, and what does that give us? That gives us 6.5 and 3.5 liters of red paint. Each 100 grams of brown bread contains 6 grams of fiber. So a small loaf is 400 and has 10 slices. We need to see how much fiber there is first and then the slices. So if 100 gives us 6 grams, then 400 will give us how much? We have to multiply each side by 4, and then that becomes 24. Multiplied by 4 becomes 24. So we have 24 grams in total, but then we have to have 1 slice is equal to 24 divided by 10, which is going to give us 2.4. So this is kind of a multi-step. We have 2 to 100. Let's try and figure out how much to make for one person. So our ratio now is 2 to 200. There we go. To 400 to 1 teaspoon. But to find 1, we need to do everything divided by 4 and then multiply by 10 to find it for 10 people. So that essentially ends up being 2, 5. So we have this odd fraction that we need to do because we end up getting 2.5. But that basically makes it easier in the sense that each measurement we're just going to times by 5 and divide by 2 instead of having to really multiply by 2.5, which makes it more difficult with the decimal. So 2.5, so 2 times 5 is 10, divide that by 2 is going to be 5, which means we get 5 here. Next one, we're going to do 200 multiplied by 5 over 2, which is going to give us 1,000 over 2, which is 500. Next one we get for chickpeas, I'll do it on this side over here. So we have more space. We do 400 times 5 is going to give us 2,000 over 2, which means we need 1,000 grams of chickpeas. And then for teaspoons of curry powder, I'll go back to this side. We're going to have 1 multiplied by 5 divided by 2. Let's make sure you can see that. Yes, you can. And then we get 2.5. And there we go. The whole ratio of height to width on a television screen, if the height, this is going to be ratio to height to width. So height is here, width is there. The height is going to be multiplied by 7. Remember, this is a two-step problem. We're not just finding out the width, we have to find out the perimeter. So times that by 7, times that by 7 to get the width, 21 to 8. Now to help me visualize this better, I'm going to put down these measurements here. So now I can stop dealing with ratios, which sometimes can get confusing, and now we're just dealing with simple perimeter, which we've done since we were young. So 21, remember each side we have to multiply. I'll write down the formula over here. We get 21 plus 28. That's the formula because you have to multiply each of them by 2 and then add them together. You end up getting 2 times 49, which is going to give you 98 centimeters. So we have good numbers here. To find 16, we have 16, we want to make 24, which means 16 over 24. So we can first find 8 by halving all of them. So this is the recipe to make 8 gingerbread. We half. So that's going to be 90 because 8 is half of 16. So 90, 20, 55, and 15. So if we know 8, now we can find 24 by multiplying all of them by 3. So 90 times 3 is going to be 270. And then we have 20 by 3 is going to make 60. Then we have 55 times 3, which is going to be 165. And then the next one is going to be 15 times 3, which is going to be 45. And we don't have to find 1 and multiply it by 24 because that's much harder. Bella makes purple paint by making blue to red in that ratio. And then we have that in 4 to 3. Similar to the other questions. So our total parts here is going to be 7. So we need to make 21 liters of purple paint. That means we need to multiply each side by 3 because to get 21 parts in total we need to multiply by 3, which means each part we're going to get 9 pints 9 liters of red paint, and then 4 times 3, which is equal to 12. So focus on the blue paint because that's all we need. So 12 liters.